Hello guys, I am back again. Today I will be discussing the ongoing issue between singer Asake and Olamide. But before I proceed, kindly subscribe to my channel and switch on the notification so that you can get notified anytime I drop a video. Now let's get back to it. Rumors have been going around that Asake has dumped Olamide and YBNL record label altogether, and many people have been skeptical about the truth in the rumor. Well, the truth is that Asake has dumped Olamide and YBNL. He has moved on. And it didn't just happen. It has happened over so many months ago. It's just that so many people are just getting to know about it. Well, anytime you wake up is your morning. Asake has moved on. And here I want to highlight why I feel he is right to be moving on. Number one reason is that the deal between Asake and Olamide was a business deal. It was a contract. I heard from a grapevine that it was a 2-year contract, and he judiciously served out his terms, and when it comes to the time for renewal, he refused to renew. Till now he has refused to renew. We don't know what step he's taking yet, but I strongly support the notion that he should move on. The business deal ended and he can't be forced to continue with the deal. He served out his term, he was loyal to his boss while he was there, and he did everything right. It was a mutually beneficial deal for the two of them. Olamide invested heavily in him, quite alright, but he recouped his investment, and this guy dropped 3 solid albums under Olamide record label and also dropped a successful EP. So that's a lifetime investment for Olamide that is going to continue milking till he dies, and his children are still going to benefit from the royalties derived from this great body of works. So there should be no ill feeling, no bad feelings about all this. This guy reserves the right to move on after the end of his contract because it is business, and in business we have to remove emotions from everything. Business is business and agreement is an agreement. When it was Olamide's turn also, he left coded stones and nobody crucified him for it. Heidi Kabasa said he felt bad about it when Olamide told him that he wasn't going to renew his contract, but at the end of the day, Olamide proved himself right by moving on. So the next point is that YBNL has nothing new to offer Asake. They've already succeeded in catapulting him to a global relevance, and now they can't push him any further. And that's the truth. YBNL is a local record label, and there is a limit to what they can do for an artist. We saw in the case of Fireboy, YBNL and Olamide pushed Fireboy to a certain level until they couldn't push him any further. And what happened to Fireboy? Fireboy decided to stick to the deal he had with Olamide, and where is he today? He has hit a very sharp decline in his career. The mistake he made was, after the expiration of his first contract, he should have also moved on to greater things. That's the mistake Asake is not repeating now. Asake is trying not to repeat that Fireboy's mistake because nobody reigns forever. When you reach a certain stage in your life, you should know and you should understand the fact that some people that pushed you to that level may not have the wherewithal, the know-how, and the capacity to push you further. And it is not in bad faith if you decide to shut them away. And that's what Asake is doing now. Olamide and YBNL can't give him what he needs to get to the next level in life. What he needs now is an international record label that has the global reach, that has the global connect to place him among the greats in Africa. We saw this play out with Burna Boy. Burna Boy was initially signed to Aristocrats, but when he got to a stage in his career, he decided not to renew. What did he do instead? He went solo for some time and now signed to an international record label. And we all saw the outcome of that. The same thing happened to Wizkid. He failed to renew his contract with EME, owned by Banky W. And he went solo for some time before he also signed an international record deal. The rest, they say, is history. Because at that point in time, their individual local record label couldn't do much again. There is a limit to what all these Nigerian record labels can do. They can only do so much for you. But if you are not wise enough to separate business from emotion and continue sticking with them, you are going to suffer for it. It is not a cause, it is the reality. Because you can't give more than you have. These record labels simply don't have the capacity. They don't have the facility. They don't have the financial war chest to compete on a global level. You may want to say, what about Mavins? But don't forget that Mavins has now taken investment from some foreign investors to give them the financial war chest to propel their artists to another level. So Mavin is not our typical Nigerian record labels. Mavin now has the backing of some foreign investors with heavy money, and they can comfortably compete with all those international record labels. And that's why we see artists like Arya Star and Rema doing big globally, because Mavin can compete successfully with all those Sony, RCA, and the likes. Another reason why I support Asake's move is because Asake is now bigger. Truth be told, Asake is now bigger than Olamide, is bigger than YBNL. It's like dumping a whale inside a pond. You would be doing that whale a huge disservice, because the whale is already bigger than the pond. For you to help the whale, you have to dump the whale inside the sea or an ocean. That is what is befitting of a whale, and that is what is befitting of Asake in this case. An international label is what is befitting of Asake as of now, not YBNL. This is not to play down on YBNL or denigrate Olamide, but that's just the truth. Let us embrace the truth. The truth may be bitter, but it will set everybody free. Asake is now bigger. Asake is now being talked about when we are talking about the likes of Burna, Davido, Wizkid, and the likes. He can comfortably hold his own when those guys are talking, because he has achieved what so many artists on his level can never dream of achieving in the next 5 years. He has shut down all these venues that all these other big three artists have shut down, and I want to believe he has even done more. So let's stop looking at Asake with the lens of yesteryears. Asake is now a formidable force in Africa, and it should be seen as so. He can't continue sticking his neck for YBNL. Olamide should go back to the streets and spot another Asake and spot another Fireboy, and the business goes on. Another reason why this move by Asake is commendable is because that he needs to break into the big three. After all, he has achieved what all of the so-called big threes have also achieved, and even more. Apart from Burna Boy, Asake was the second highest touring artist in 2024 in Nigeria. Even Wizkid and Davido couldn't come close. So what are we talking about? He deserves to break into the big three, and we must remove one of those big threes from the big three, because they don't have what it takes to be a big three again. Wizkid didn't tour at all this year. Davido didn't tour much. Asake toured more than most of them, save for Burna Boy. So Asake should be considered in the conversation of big three, and that's one of the reasons why he has to leave YBNL, because you can't be a big three while you are still stuck to a local record label. You have to go international. You have to be in the midst of those that are thinking globally when it comes to music. Moving on to the next point. Another reason why he has to leave YBNL is because if he goes international now, the foreign record labels would give him the reach that he needs. YBNL can't do that. YBNL has no presence outside Nigeria, but these big record labels have presence in all the countries that matter in the world. So imagine them signing Asake. They already have the structure in all these countries, so they will just be leveraging on their structure to push Asake to those markets, and that move will be strategic for Asake. He's too big to be limiting himself to YBNL and Africa. He needs to get to some countries that he can't get to now. He needs to perform and show that shows in those countries, just like Burna Boy is doing. The reason why Burna Boy is successful now is because he has the structure of the international record label signed to on grant. It's not as if he's doing it on his own. Nobody can do it on their own. A tree can't make a forest. So that's the same reason why Asake needs all these foreign international labels to leverage on their structure to reach more areas. Another reason that is worthy of note is because Asake also needs to pay it forward. When Olamide left Coded Tunes, he paid it forward by signing so many artists. Now is the time for Asake to also pay it forward by putting somebody else on, and so that the cycle can continue. You can't put somebody on while you are still signed to a local record label. It's just like saying Rema should sign somebody now when he's under Mavins. Even Wizkid couldn't sign anybody when he was under EME. So Asake needs to leave YBNL and Olamide now so that he can also establish himself and sign other young artists in the industry and give them the opportunity to also blow up. So this is not a selfish move at all. It is to create an avenue for Asake to pay the gesture Olamide extended to him forward to another person. And also to create room for Olamide to bring in somebody new up. So if Asake doesn't quit YBNN now, it will be difficult for Olamide to even sign anybody to become as big as Fireboy or Asake. So don't let us see this from a selfish angle. Let us see it from a business angle and from the opportunity angle. If somebody doesn't leave, another person won't be able to fill up that space. And so, if Asake refuses to move on, no new person will be able to come into YBNL and Asake won't be able to sign new people. And the last reason why I feel it was right to leave YBNL and Olamide is because he also has his own ideas that he wants to experiment. He wasn't able to do that when he was under YBNL and Olamide, but now that he has left that place, he will be able to be more expressive, more experimental, and be able to, play around with the ideas that he has in his head with more freedom, with nobody checkmating him, with nobody telling him not to take risks. So I feel it is a right call for him. And I hope it becomes bigger. And if it turns the other way around, well, it's a life lesson. He will take his L and move on. There is nothing guaranteed in life. Nobody thought he would make it when Olamide signed him. So there is no guarantee in life that he is going to be bigger. But at least let's give him the benefit of a doubt. And that's all for today. I hope you've learned and picked one or two things from this episode. I want you to do well to subscribe to my channel and to switch on the notifications so that you can get notified anytime I drop a content. Thank you. Bye.